Have you spent years following every single piece of medical advice, yet you feel like you're fighting a losing battle? You cut out the butter, you swapped steak for chicken, you started the statins, and you walk every single morning. Yet, when you look at your latest scan or blood work, that arterial plaque is still there, or worse, it is quietly growing. If you feel like you are doing everything right, but your body is still failing you, I want you to listen very closely. You are not failing. The standard system is failing you. Today, we are uncovering why the standard low-fat doctrine and the obsession with simple cholesterol numbers are biologically fundamentally wrong. We are going to discuss a hidden molecular deadlock in your cells that is keeping your arteries clogged, and most importantly, how we are going to unlock that door today. Let's start by shattering the single biggest myth in modern medicine, a myth that has been repeated so often it is now accepted as absolute truth. Most people, and even many well-meaning doctors, describe arterial plaque as if it were grease building up in a kitchen pipe. They tell you that if you eat a piece of steak or a bit of butter, that fat travels through your blood and simply sticks to the walls. But I want you to think for a moment. If your arteries were just passive plastic pipes, then plaque would build up everywhere equally, wouldn't it? But it doesn't. It builds up in very specific spots. This is because your arteries are not plumbing. They are living, breathing, highly sophisticated organs. The reality is that plaque is not a fat problem at all. It is a full-scale immune system catastrophe. To understand this, we have to look at the birth of a blockage. It all starts with a microscopic injury to the delicate inner lining of your artery called the endothelium. This lining is thinner than a hair, yet it is the most important real estate in your body. Now, under normal circumstances, your body is a master of repair. But a problem arises when your LDL cholesterol, which is actually a vital nutrient transporter, becomes oxidized. Think of oxidation like biological rusting. This rusting happens when your LDL is attacked by high blood sugar or those unstable vegetable oils we talked about. The moment that LDL particle oxidizes, its chemical structure changes. It is no longer a nutrient. It becomes a toxic, jagged foreign invader. Your body sees this damaged particle and sounds the alarm. Your immune cells, specifically the cleanup crew, known as macrophages, rush to the site of the injury. Their job is to protect you, so they begin to swallow these toxic, rusted fat particles. But here is where the catastrophe occurs. The macrophages don't know when to stop. They eat and eat until they become bloated, heavy, and dysfunctional. In the medical world, we call these foam cells. These foam cells are the true building blocks of plaque. They become so heavy that they sink into the artery wall and get trapped behind the lining. Eventually, these cells die, creating a toxic graveyard of fatty debris and inflammation that your body then tries to wall off with calcium. The risk of following the old advice is profound. If you only focus on lowering your total LDL number with a pill, but you never stop the oxidation and the inflammation happening inside your vessels, you are essentially trying to put out a forest fire with a water pistol. You are watching the smoke while the house continues to burn to the ground. My advice to you today is to shift your mindset completely. Stop fearing cholesterol as a number on a page and start fearing the biological factors, the sugar, the stress, and the toxic oils that turn your cholesterol into a weapon against your own heart. Before we fix the problem, we must identify what is fueling the fire. There are 3 common habits that accelerate this arterial decay. First are refined seed oils, like soybean and canola oil. These are oxidation delivery systems. When you consume them, they integrate into your cell membranes, making them fragile and prone to bursting. Second is the low-fat doctrine itself. By removing healthy fats, you lower your HDL, which is the garbage truck of your blood. Without enough HDL, the fat that enters your artery walls has no way to get back out. Finally, the most surprising suspect, antibacterial mouthwash. Many seniors use it daily to stay fresh, but it kills the good bacteria in your mouth that produce nitric oxide. Without this gas, your arteries cannot relax. They become stiff and they become sticky, allowing plaque to take hold much faster. Why doesn't the plaque just go away when you start eating better? It is because of a molecular deadlock. Inside your arteries, there is a specific protein called the ABCA1 transporter. Think of this as the emergency exit that allows cholesterol to leave those bloated foam cells. In many people over 60, this door is bricked up due to chronic inflammation and high insulin levels. To make matters worse, as the plaque sits there, your body begins to deposit calcium into it to try and stabilize the mess. This makes the artery as hard as a rock. This happens because a protein called MGP, which is supposed to keep calcium out of your soft tissues and in your bones, is sitting there inactive. Statins are not designed to unbrick that exit door or activate that calcium-clearing protein. This is why you feel stuck in a body that won't heal. Here are the significantly expanded versions of sections 5 and 6. I have added technical depth, explanatory analogies, and more connective tissue to ensure the script flows naturally and hits that 20 to 24-minute target at the specified slow pace. Before I give you the 4 specific keys to unlock your health, I want to tell you a story about a patient of mine named Arthur. Arthur is 72 years old, a retired engineer, a man who spent his whole life following blueprints and logic. When he first came to see me, he was deeply frustrated. For 10 years, Arthur had been the perfect patient. He took his high-dose statin every night without fail. He ate a bland, low-fat diet that he actually hated. He walked 3 miles a day, even when his legs felt heavy. But despite his discipline, Arthur's annual CAC scan told a scary story. His calcium score was rising by 20% every single year. His pipes were hardening, and he could feel it. He told me, "Doctor, I feel like I'm running out of breath just walking to the mailbox. I'm doing everything you guys told me to do, so why am I getting worse?" Arthur was the classic victim of the biological deadlock. His exit doors were rusted shut because his low-fat diet had crashed his protective HDL, and his high-intensity statin wasn't addressing the massive oxidation in his blood. He was effectively polishing the outside of the car while the engine was melting. We decided to scrap the old blueprint. We didn't just focus on his cholesterol numbers. We focused on his cellular environment. We introduced the high-phenolic olive oil to kickstart those ABCA1 transporters. We added the vitamin K2 to start moving that calcium out of his heart and into his bones. We brought back the nitrates to relax his stiff arteries. 3 months later, Arthur walked into my office, and he didn't just look different. He moved differently. He told me he had just finished a weekend hiking trip with his grandsons. He wasn't puffed out. His blood pressure had stabilized, so well we were able to discuss lowering his medication. But the most important change wasn't on a lab slide. It was the look in his eyes. He no longer felt like a prisoner to his own heart. He had shifted from waiting for an event to actively building health. Arthur is proof that your age is not a cage. Your body is waiting for the right signals. Now, let's look at the exact four-part protocol that changed Arthur's life and can change yours, too. To break this complex biological deadlock, we have to stop reaching for those processed, low-fat crackers or heart-healthy cereals. Those are marketing tools, not medical tools. To truly reopen the exit doors of your arteries, we need four specific, highly potent biological keys. Think of these as a targeted strike force designed to reset your cellular environment. First, we must talk about raw arugula and beets. These aren't just salad ingredients. They are nitrogen powerhouses. When you chew these plants, they provide the raw nitrates that your body, specifically those bacteria in your mouth we discussed, uses to create nitric oxide. This gas is the Teflon of your cardiovascular system. It tells your blood vessels to relax, widen, and stay slippery. By flooding your system with these daily, you bypass the damage done by years of mouthwash or high-sugar diets and begin protecting the delicate inner lining of your vessels immediately. Second, you must introduce high phenolic extra virgin olive oil. Now, I'm not talking about the cheap oil in the clear plastic bottle on the bottom shelf. I am talking about high-quality oil that has a peppery kick at the back of your throat. That kick comes from a compound called oleocanthal. Recent molecular studies have shown that oleocanthal is one of the few natural substances that can upregulate or physically reopen those ABCA1 exit doors we talked about earlier. It gives those trapped foam cells a way to finally eject the toxic cholesterol and shrink back down. It's like finally finding the key to a door that's been rusted shut for a decade. Third, we have pomegranate seeds. I like to call these the biological shields of the human body. Pomegranates are rich in punicalagins, unique antioxidants that have a specific affinity for LDL particles. They act like a protective coating, wrapping around your cholesterol so that it cannot be rusted or oxidized by the toxins in your blood. When your LDL is shielded, your immune system doesn't see it as an enemy. This stops the catastrophe at the source, preventing new foam cells from ever forming. Finally, we reach the master key, vitamin K2 in the 7 Malawian Kwacha's form. This is perhaps the most misunderstood nutrient in the senior health world. While vitamin D helps you absorb calcium, it is vitamin K2 that tells the calcium where to go. K2 is the only way to activate a specific protein called matrix GLA protein, or MGP. Think of MGP as a specialized security guard that patrols your arteries. When it's activated by K2, it literally grabs the calcium out of your heart and soft tissues and shoves it back into your bones and teeth, where it belongs. Without K2, that calcium stays in your heart, hardening your arteries further every single day, no matter how many healthy salads you eat. You need this traffic controller to ensure your minerals are working for you, not against you. I want to be very clear with you, because at this stage of life, your health is far too important for half-truths or maybe later strategies. We have reached a point where trying isn't enough. We need to decide. This protocol requires what I call a contracts mindset, not a hobby mindset. Think about a hobby. You do it when you feel like it, maybe on a rainy Tuesday or a quiet Sunday afternoon. But a contract? A contract is a binding agreement. You cannot send these sophisticated biological signals to your cells 4 days a week and then expect the deadlock to break during the weekend while you take a break. The molecular signals we are trying to trigger, like the unbricking of the ABCA1 exit door or the crucial activation of the MGP protein, are transient. In biological terms, that means they are temporary. They are like a radio signal that fades if you move too far from the tower. They need to be refreshed, reinforced, and broadcast to your cells every single 24 hours to maintain the momentum of healing. If you skip 2 days, the door begins to close again. But if you commit to this contract with your own body, here is the incredible biological roadmap of what you can expect to happen deep inside your chest. By day 7, the awakening phase in this first week, your body is essentially waking up from a long, hypoxic slumber. As you flood your system with nitrates from arugula and beets, your nitric oxide levels begin to stabilize for the first time in years. For many of my patients, this is the awakening phase. You might notice that the brain fog, that heavy afternoon cloudiness that often accompanies poor circulation, starts to lift. You'll feel a surge in physical energy, not like a caffeine spike, but a steady, calm endurance. You may even see a slight, measurable drop in your resting blood pressure as your vessels finally stop clamping down and begin to relax and widen. You are literally feeling your blood reach the tiny capillaries it hasn't visited in a long time. By day 21, the cooling phase by the 3rd week, we move into what I call the cooling phase. Your body has been in a state of high alert for years, but now systemic inflammation, which we measure through a marker called CRP, typically begins to plummet. Think of this as the fire inside your arterial walls finally being extinguished. The swelling in your vessels starts to go down, the stickiness of your blood decreases, and your circulation begins to flow with less turbulence. You might notice that your joints feel a little less stiff or that you aren't as puffed out when climbing a flight of stairs. The internal environment is finally shifting from defense to repair. By day 60, the molecular reversal phase. This is where the true biological magic happens. We call this the molecular reversal phase because the structural changes are now undeniable. Your exit doors are now wide open. The oleocanthal from your olive oil and the vitamin K2 are working in perfect tandem. Your foam cells, those bloated immune cells that create plaque, are finally shrinking as they dump their toxic cargo back into the bloodstream to be cleared away. At the same time, the calcium-clearing proteins are now actively patrolling your heart like a security team, gently removing the minerals that shouldn't be there. This is the stage where the plaque deadlock is officially broken. By day 90, the transformation phase, you have now reached the transformation phase. You are no longer just slowing down a chronic disease. You have physically changed the chemical and structural environment of your entire vascular system. At this 90-day mark, the results become visible to the world. Many of my senior patients report significantly improved physical stamina, the ability to walk longer distances without shortness of breath, and a sense of vitality they haven't felt since their 40s. You aren't just adding years to your life. You are adding life to your years. You are standing taller, moving faster, and living better with a heart that is finally working with you as an ally, rather than against you as an enemy. This is the reward for your consistency. As you move forward, I urge you to move beyond the 1970s-style cholesterol tests. If you want to know the truth about your heart, ask your doctor for an advanced lipid panel to look at your ApoB and oxidized LDL. These numbers tell you the size and the damage of the particles, which is far more important than the total number. Additionally, consider a coronary artery calcium CAC score. This is a quick scan that shows you exactly how much stone is in your pipes. Taking care of your health after 60 is the most important job you have. It's about being there for the birthdays, the walks, and the moments that matter. If this explanation finally made things click for you, please share this video with someone you care about. We need to change the conversation around heart health. On a scale of 0 to 10, how well did you understand the deadlock concept? Leave your score in the comments and let me know which city or country you are watching from. I love reading your stories. And keep an eye out for our next video, where I will reveal a healthy morning drink that is secretly causing a massive spike in your blood pressure. You might be drinking it right now. See you in the next one.